there's a citizen. He saw a Massachusetts state trooper asleep, according to the narrative. This cop would always sleep inside of his squad car. He decided to approach him, and then after that, he gets targeted by, guess what? The police. Here it is.
I see you sleeping here every single morning, okay? Going on Facebook Live. Every morning I drive by, you're sleeping. I can't even see you in the front seat, okay?
Seems reasonable to me, all right? The guy's name is Nick Ford. That's the person who approached him. His name is Nick Ford. Here's what happened afterward. Ford was then pulled over by a state trooper immediately after filming the sleeping trooper. Nick Ford of Marlboro said he was pulled over by a state trooper roughly 3 minutes. 3 minutes after he confronted the trooper who appeared to be sleeping in his cruiser. The trooper who pulled him over informed Ford that he was pulled over for using an electronic device. Ford disputes this claim. Now here's the reality. If the cop was not asleep, there would have been all kinds of back and forth between him and the civilian. But he was asleep, okay? And when you sleep in your car, what do? You roll your window back up, go back to sleep. Typically what you do, all right? Ford felt as though this was retaliation. He tried to document the interaction as much as he could. Ford requested to the trooper, give me a supervisor. All right, he said, give me a supervisor out here so he could report both the trooper who appeared to be sleeping and the trooper that pulled him over. A supervising trooper arrived on scene and provided Ford with 2 complaints. Ford said he asked the supervising trooper to write him a ticket to have the interaction on public record, but the trooper denied that request and issued him a written warning instead. I like the way this dude thinks, okay? This is one of those, I can tell right now that Nick Ford, Mr. Ford, is one of those go big or go home type guys, okay? All right, he said, write me this damn ticket. I'm guilty, officer. Let's get it on the record here. They wanted none of that smoke. Ford started then to receive several calls from unknown numbers. When he called the number back, guess what? He realized that the direct line went back to the Massachusetts State Police. The same cop, the same agency the cop he found sleeping works for. Ford called and requested if there was a warrant out for him. The police said no and hung up the phone. All right, it gets deeper. Another call came through to Ford minutes later. He said, this time, the call identified himself as Massachusetts State Police Lieutenant from the Holden Barracks. According to Ford, the lieutenant told him he was investigating the trooper who was filmed sleeping on behalf of internal affairs, all right? The cop sleeping on the job is believed to work out of that particular precinct as well. I asked him if he was part of internal affairs. Now watch this. And to identify whether he was part of that organization, Ford said at that time, he was sort of backpedaling and changing the subject. Took about 5 requests before he told me no, that he's not part of internal affairs, but that internal affairs had asked him to look into this. So Ford, he peeps game, all right? Ford peeps game. And he says, I'm giving you no more information, right? Ford has witnessed this trooper sleeping on a daily basis, according to him. That is not being tired, Ford said. This is systematically stealing from your employer who is funded by my tax dollars. This isn't an accident. This isn't a one-time thing. This is somebody that was so blazingly stealing that somebody risked personal issues with a road he drives every single day to put a stop to it. It's that bad, all right? So we're gonna see what happens. Obviously, Ford is not letting it go. But attorney, if a cop goes to work every day and literally parks the vehicle and then goes to sleep. Because according to Ford, this guy does it on a regular basis. Is that in fact theft?
Probably not. I mean, he's essentially stealing time from his employer. That I think would be really hard to argue. It would be, somebody working a retail job, maybe taking a longer break than they were supposed to or something. I don't think you could actually, try to really charge that with theft. I mean, legally, ethically, yes. And that's the thing, the ethics and the law don't always kind of go together. And I think it's more of an ethical issue here. And what struck me was, we've talked about this quite a bit, right? Like corruption, right? In police. And you just mentioned how lawyers have a review process. We have to pass our, a character test essentially. And that's because we are agents of our justice system and we want our justice system to be respected. Police officers, it astounds me they don't have something similar when they are the ones with a gun and they are the ones who can literally restrict your liberty. And yet we have a higher standard for lawyers when it comes to ethics and morals. Like, that doesn't make any sense to me.
Quite interesting, isn't it?